Good morning. We hope you had a great 4th of July. Thank goodness it passed without the kind of incident that had officials so worried. Cities and towns across the country on high alert for a possible terror strike on Independence Day. Here in New York, 7,000 police officers deployed to protect the fireworks. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has been tracking the threats. And Pierre, so far, so good.
Good morning, George. That's right. Law enforcement is breathing a sigh of relief that we made it through Independence Day with no terror attack on U.S. soil. The concern, I can tell you, was real. Authorities had high security throughout the country, specifically concerned about ISIS and the threat of lone wolves. But unfortunately, the concern did not end with the fireworks last night. The unprecedented social media campaign by ISIS, which is happening now as we speak, is urging its followers to carry out attacks, including here in the U.S. We're also at the one-year anniversary of the formation of the so-called Islamic State, and a senior ISIS leader recently made a threat that authorities are paying attention to. Right now, we're in the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, which does not end until July 17th. That senior leader called on followers to make Ramadan, quote, a month of disasters for the infidels. Those recent attacks in Tunisia, Kuwait, and Egypt showed their followers are listening, so this will be a long, uneasy summer, George.
We know they will keep trying. And Pierre, while I have you, you also cover Homeland Security and Immigration. Let me ask you about that horrific case out of San Francisco where a young woman, Kathryn Steinle, was shot and killed by a Mexican immigrant who was in the country illegally. And it's so shocking because this immigrant, Francisco Sanchez, had 7 prior felony convictions, been deported 5 times. A lot of people wondering, how could someone like that be in the United States, be free?
George, what a tragic case. And this may be a classic example that bureaucracy can kill. Federal immigration officials are pointing the finger squarely at local authorities. They say this criminal, as you say, deported 5 times, should never have been released by the city. They say that Francisco Sanchez was handed over to the city because of an outstanding drug charge there. Prior to that, he had been in prison for being a repeat illegal immigration offender. The feds say there was a specific request to be notified once the local case was resolved, but that did not happen. San Francisco authorities claim that once the drug charges were dropped, Mr. Sanchez was simply free to go. San Francisco is a safe haven city that does not detain undocumented immigrants. George, who is right is a subject for debate. The feds say they did everything by the book and never wanted this man on the streets. Should the locals have simply notified the feds when the case ended? Or should federal immigration officials have been more closely monitoring the case? A very sad story, George.
Boy, it sure is, Pierre. Thanks very much.